number 1. You will answer the questions plainly and simply. No mustard, ketchup, or relish. Understood?
Nora...
Rule number 2. You will be modest and humble, allowing me to point up those wondrous virtues of yours. That's what I get paid the big bucks to do, the impossible jobs. Rule number 3.
Now wait 1 minute.
Rule number 3, you will restrict your answers to monosyllabic words. 1 syllable. Rule number 4, you will look at the jury as your peers, not as the hired help. Rule number 5, you will treat the judge and the rest of the court with respect. Rule number 6, if you cannot comply with the aforementioned rules, I will invoke the Nora Gannon rule.
And what is that?
Never represent a fool. You're on your own, Dorian.
Nora, wait! Wait! Don't walk out on me now! Nora, I'll do it your way. Whatever you say.
You'd better mean it, Dorian. Because if you can't answer my questions without putting your head in a noose, what do you think's gonna happen when Hank gets his turn at you?
There's nothing that Hank could ask me that would possibly...
Sit down. I understand you were dismissed from Landview Hospital because of malpractice, isn't that right?
No, that's a lie. Perpetrated by Victoria Buchanan and Larry Wolek because they both hate me.
You were desperate, and Victor Lord came along with a very convenient heart attack. You decided to make the most of it, didn't you?
He was a sick old man. I saved his life.
And he saved your neck. You decided to take advantage of his illness. You wormed your way into his affection, and then you married him for his money.
It was a love match.
Come on, Dorian. You married the sick old man for his money, and then when he didn't die on schedule, you killed him.
You're just repeating all of those vicious lies in Lord of the Banner.
Oh, that house, that big house, all that money, the power, the prestige, everything that went along with his name. Took advantage of all of that. Well, he was so sick, you know. It was nice of you to put him out of his misery. Isn't that what you told yourself? Isn't that what you said to yourself? When you picked up the pillow, when you put it over his face, and you smothered the life out of him?
I didn't. I did not kill him. Ours wasn't a perfect marriage, but I loved him. I didn't murder him. I didn't murder him. You see, I can stay calm when I have to. And I swear on this Bible that I can and I will. Nora, please. Give me my chance. It's my only chance.
Okay. I'll put you on the stand.
Thank you. I won't let you down, I promise you.
Well, what's her alternative? I mean, Nora's used all of her witnesses. All she can do is rest her case.
Well, Bo says there's one more witness on Nora's list.
What about it, Hank? What if Nora puts Dorian on the stand?
Well, I don't think she will. I mean, Nora knows that with Dorian there's a risk of self-destruction. Now, Nora, she's many things.
All rise.
Dumb isn't one of them.
Look.
Be seated.
Remember?
No theatrics, I know. Nora, I promised I'd behave myself, didn't I?
You'd better. Or else those 12 faces over there will all be saying the same thing. Guilty.
Ms. Gannon,
If you have no further witnesses, I suggest we expedite matters and go right to summation.
Great.
Actually, Your Honor, I do have one last witness. The most important witness of all. The defense calls Dorian Lord.
Will Sonny's charm quell Brenda's fears? Stay tuned for General Hospital following an ABC News brief next.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated. Please state your name for the record.
Dorian Lord.
You may begin questioning of your witness, Miss Gannon.
So you worked continually, putting yourself through medical school and becoming a doctor. That was about, what, 20 years ago, wasn't it?
Yes.
And where was your first position, a staff position?
Landview Hospital.
Well, that must have been a very important event in your life.
Oh, it was, most definitely. I mean, there were many obstacles along the way. There were the financial hurdles, all of them, and then there were family tragedies. So when I came on staff at Landview Hospital, it was the realization of a dream. It truly was.
What made you want to become a doctor?
I wanted to help people, to make their lives better. And may I say that when I was doing that, I was very happy.
Your Honor, Mrs. Lord's desire to heal and help is hardly why we're here.
Is that an objection, Mr. Gannon?
Your Honor, I'd simply like to move on to the issue at hand, if we may.
Well, you read my mind, Mr. Gannon. We'll move on. How did you tell us about your first meeting with Victor Lord?
My first, I'm not sure that I can do that. I think that we probably met at some social function or at the hospital. But I can give you the exact date that I came to know Victor very well.
Tell us about that.
It was March 3rd, 1975. Victor Lord suffered a massive heart attack in my home.
Ah, yes, the prosecution's witness, Victoria Lord Buchanan, admitted that you saved his life. Would you agree with that?
Most definitely. He had a blockage of the left ventricle to the heart. It caused it to collapse, triggering a heart attack. Victor was essentially minutes from death.
And what did you do?
I applied CPR. That's when you press very hard. You strike the patient just below the sternum. That's right here, in an effort to force the heart to start beating again. I did that, but it wasn't enough. So I had to kneel over Victor and press very forcefully on his heart, pumping it over and over and over again. Basically, I was pumping his blood for him, breathing for him. Eventually, his heart did start to beat again, and an ambulance arrived just a few minutes later, and he was saved.
My goodness, I'm sure Victor Lord was very grateful that you'd been there.
Absolutely. And I think that it explains the rather extraordinary bond that the two of us felt from that time on.
You became very close?
Oh, yes.
And you fell in love?
Yes, we did.
And then you were married?
Yes. And although his family felt that I had only married him for his money, well, not his whole family, his daughter, Victoria. But it wasn't true. He was a good man, and I loved him.
Thank you, Mrs. Thorpe.
I never understood why she chose to ignore the fact that I had saved his life, or why she hated me for loving him and letting him live the last few months of his life happily married.
Mrs. Lord.
Unless it was just the money. I mean, she always was very determined to inherit all of it.
Objection.
Sustained. Witness will answer the questions and not make speeches.
Of course, I'm sorry, Your Honor. It just does seem obvious that that was what she was interested in all along. The money.
Objection, Your Honor. Move to strike.